Alright guys, Rich here from the RC Network, and this is going to be build update number 3 on my TLR22 SCT. The build has went pretty good so far. It actually appears that I've assembled the whole truck. However, I still have a few things that I definitely need to do. The first thing, I still need to build the shocks. I still need to route out all of my electronics. I still have to glue up wheels and tires, paint the body, and then hopefully this thing will be running. So far this is build update 3. I pretty much assembled all of the rear of the truck, the whole rear clip, rear transmission, all that stuff, and mid-motor configuration. And I've added a few upgrade parts that I'm definitely going to go over in this video. So the last video, update number 2, went over the front clip of the truck. And then this one's going to go over mostly the rear and some of the things I've kind of added to spice mine up here at the RC Network. So one thing I added to the front that I did not mention in the last one was I went ahead and I added these aluminum clamping TLR 12mm hexes. Now those are actually from the 22 buggy. And ironically enough, they're plus 1.5mm for the buggy. However, they're standard size for the SCT. They actually matched up exactly to the plastic ones that came with the kit. So I had those in my pit bag, so I just went ahead and added those onto the build. I'll have a link to those specific ones in the video description, but you can also get just the standard size SCT version as well. So they both work. You can also get, I believe, different offsets or wider ones if you need that particular item. So onto the rear of the clip. One thing I wanted to mention about the instructions, this is actually the first TLR kit I've built, and to be completely honest, it's confusing to say the least. And the biggest issue is they have both sets of instructions in the owner's manual, so as you're going along, you're going to come across, you know, B-3M, well, that's for a mid-motor. B4, that's for rear motor. B4M, mid-motor. Well, it looks good when I'm explaining it, but as you're following along and it's late at night, you kind of get jumbled. So what I kind of did later on in the manual, you'll see here, is I actually started highlighting the M just to kind of stand out. So if you're new to building this kit and you're building either rear or mid, highlight the steps that you need to take. It just saves some time from opening up bags you don't need to open and, you know, getting screws all mixed up and all that other stuff. That way you have all your mid-motor parts separate from your rear motor parts. So mine are in a big jumbled mess right now. So that being said, as far as the build for the rear, everything went great. The one thing I had a little bit of trouble with was actually getting the mid-motor screws to go actually all the way through the front hinge pin holder into the transmission. Now they called for a 20mm by 3mm tapered head screw, and ironically enough, I was actually missing those in my kit, so I had to go out and purchase a set of these. These are basically the replacement for that. Now I got 8 extra, so TLR 5965, just basically a flathead screw, 3mm by 20. So that fixed that problem. You know, there was a couple mistakes I saw in the manual, nothing major that I really need to point out. You know, they're just common mistakes. And the other thing that's kind of odd is that it only shows pictures of one side of the vehicle, not both sides. And I know they did that to probably help the rendering and, you know, keep a little bit less contaminated on the page. But it was a little bit confusing when adding some of the ball studs and things. So on to the upgrades. Let's talk about those. The first thing, let's talk about non-transmission upgrades. The first thing here is there is the slotted battery bulkhead from Avid Racing. It is adjustable, so you can kind of move it fore and aft, and it'll fit all the platforms of the 22. Let's take a look at that thing really quick. Right now I have it set up for a shorty pack, and it's a very streamlined aluminum. Has a little notches there. I don't know if you can see those in the far bottom. Just basically a nut on top, tapered screw on the bottom, and you're pretty much set. So you have about 16 millimeters of throw on that thing to kind of move it fore and aft, and you have a varying holes there to mount it to. So pretty good deal. I like how slimline it is. You can still use the Velcro straps from the kit. Everything is good. Next thing right here, this is the vented motor plate from Avid, of course, too. Fits all the platforms. I know it doesn't specify SCT on there, but it definitely does fit that because it's sitting on my truck right now. So, and it'll work for either mid or rear motor. Let's take a look at that thing really quick. It's going to be hard to see with the Spur Gear in there, but pretty much very similar to the stock one. However, this one is completely vented, so the holes go all the way through, and hopefully you can kind of see through there where those holes go through. It's just going to definitely be better for the motor and kind of venting everything. So pretty good deal. That should work out pretty good. The next set of items is definitely going to be the Triad slipper clutch and all the parts to kind of make all that work. First thing is the main kit. This is the stock version, so it has the stock size spur gears, 72 and 76. I wanted the smaller ones just in case. The biggest difference on the Triad is you have 3 different pads there that will actually go on the slipper clutch instead of 2. So a little bit more fine tuning. You can also get red pads, which will be a little bit grippier and make things kind of run better on your truck. So that went on. You can use the stock top shaft, basically that shaft that goes through, but I opted for the aluminum TLR version from Avid as well. It basically allows you to put on a 5.5 millimeter nut on the end versus the 5 millimeter, which is kind of odd for a TLR kit. So anyways, that thing's on there. Everything is spaced out perfect with the 2 Avid parts together. The last thing I added was the Triad Spur Gear 81 tooth, just to kind of get me into the mod class. Hopefully I'm going to be running an 81 16 is going to be my initial start gear ratio. So and we'll kind of go from there. 7.5 turn motor, so it should be pretty damn quick. So I believe that is all of the upgrades. No, there's two more upgrades. Let's take a look at those. Last thing I added, and was the 1.5 millimeter width rear hexes. Those are the aluminum clamping ones. I'll show you those in a second, along with the rear hinge pin outer threaded kind of holders there. Basically no E-clips or C-clips on my truck at all, except for in the shock. So anyways, those worked out very nice. Titanium nitride, you can't beat it. So $5 or $6 for those. So let's take a look at all those little parts that I was mentioning. First thing here, and you can definitely see how wide those hexes are. Very nice hex. It clamps. Everything is great. It should give you a little bit more wider stance on the track, which is definitely good. Can't really see them, but inside there's the hinge pin holders with the 2 nuts on either end. Very nice added items, so you don't have those little C and E clips. On looking to the Triad slipper, very nice design. I mean, everything went together perfect. You can kind of see those 2 pads, and there's one buried in there real deep. Can't even see that. So anyways, right now I actually have a 20 tooth on there. I for some reason I have 3 20s, an 18, and a 22, so I need to go pick up a 16 just to get my initial start ratio. On the other side over here, you can kind of see my motor. Got the Orion VST2. Going to get that thing soldered up to the R10 Pro here. Just really kind of confused at where I'm going to mount my ESC. I know I've seen some people that mount it all the way up front here next to the receiver. I've seen people mount it up here almost slanted on this thing. And there's also another company that makes a little platform here. I believe it's called JMC. I may look into getting that. Kind of doubles as a battery strap as well. So, but pretty much that is the kit so far. If I had to guess on hour-wise, I'm probably about 3 hours into this build, 3.5 or so, and it's went together pretty good, so no complaints here. That's basically it. if you have any questions about this kit or any of the upgrades, please refer down to the video description because I'll have links to all the items that I mentioned. And as always, any other questions, please post them on down below. Always available also on Google+. Look me up there at the RC Network. So that's it for now, guys. Questions, comments down below. Rate, share, comment, all that good stuff. That's it for now, guys. Over now.